Have you got plants in ugly pots that you want to hide? If so, then this is a video for you. Hello everyone, I'm Caroline and today I'm going to be making some different ways of displaying houseplants. This one I picked up from the supermarket, but it was reduced because it's just starting to die on the edge of the flower. That's not a problem. These come back so easily. It was rather floppy when I bought it. Like a real bargain. I do love a bargain. So how can I best display this sort of plant so that it doesn't look like it's just got a boring pot on it? Well, I have a few ideas. So let's get started on the first one. And as you can tell by my paint background, we're going to paint. I've got this lid of a panettone tin. And I've given it a few little coats, very light coats of undercoat. And next thing I'm going to do is to paint this with some chalk paint. It is so much easier painting over a good undercoat. I usually just paint straight onto the metal or whatever, and oh, it takes forever. So it's worth investing in a good undercoat if you can. If not, just persevere and it'll just take you a lot more coats of paint. And while we're waiting for that to dry, we're going to get on with the next project. This project is so adaptable. If you've got a small plant pot or a huge one, you just adjust the size of photo frames that you have to suit your pot. I got these, they were from Next. Well, they weren't from Next, they were from a thrift store, but originally they were from Next. They were all joined together with some twine. I've taken them apart, taken the advertising pictures out of them because they said like the size of the picture, so they were no good. Next thing I need to do is to put something else in. Now you can either put a picture of your own in, or I'm just going to put something decorative in. I got this lovely light summery print, so I thought that would be perfect. Out with a pencil. Put the backing frame from here onto your paper, or if you've got just a square aperture, you can measure the size. And then you just draw around it and cut on the inside of that line. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit big. So chop away, and I'll be back when I've made 4 of these. Ta-da! That was so easy to do. And now you just pop them in, pop on your backing. And these are nice and easy to close. They've not even got those really stiff, fiddly pieces of metal. Just do that. And I think that's very pretty. And it's going to suit the sort of theme and style that I'm making. And now I just need to do it with the rest of them. Ta-da! The advantage with this too is you can put as much or as little effort as you want to into these. You haven't even got to put new pictures in if they're pictures of something that you're quite happy to display. You could paint these frames. Or you can not bother to paint them. I'm not, because they've got a really nice job on them. I love the little bit of decoration around the heart, and I like the colour. While I'm waiting for my glue gun to heat up, because I forgot to turn it on, I've got this. This is the card that was backing this item. You can see all the details there for the next shop. And I'm going to use this as a base. Now, if you've got a piece of wood that'll fit perfectly, brilliant. If not, cardboard is a wonderful thing. You can just layer it until you get it to the thickness that you need. I'm not going to cut this yet because I want to measure around once and then I can cut similar sizes and add to it rather than have to cut through very thick card. It can be done, but it's much easier to cut the thin card with the scissors. This last piece you've got to go like the clappers because you've got to get the glue on and get it put in place on 2 sides before the glue cools down. So let's go for it. Now we need to make the bottom. So we stand that on there. I'm going to mark it with a pencil. And then just trim a tiny bit off the edge because it's going to be sticking out otherwise. And when you're happy with the size, cut yourself a few more pieces. I think I'm going to cut another 2 just to give it a fairly good base. I'm using Aleene's tacky glue for this. The reason I'm using a brush is I've just realised the nozzle's all gunked up. So I use a brush and then I'll clean my little dried up nozzle later. Now I'm fixing the bottom on with my staple gun because it's much quicker and much more secure. And now we've got quite a tough bottom. what are you going to do with this? Well, it's up to you. You may want to put something really decorative on it. You can put bows, ribbons, you could put a piece of lace around the top. I've got some different things here. You could do something like put that around the top to finish it off. Some of this, perhaps a little bit lower, or even there, around the bottom. There we go. You can put it around the bottom, or the bottom and the top. But I'm not going to do anything else with it because I think it's lovely the way it is. So let's see what happens when I put my plant in there. Now, you can't see from the front what that looks like. You can see we've hidden all the inside by having a nice, sumptuous plant. So let's see what this looks like up on my display. This craft, you may be thinking, what on earth are you going to make with an old tin? Well, I got this from a thrift store and it is rather grotty. I've washed it, but it's still got lots of bits stuck to it. But the outside's pretty good. The only thing is, I was going to glue legs to this and then thought, just a minute, it's non-stick on the outside as well as the inside. So my options were to drill holes in the bottom and then screw legs on, or to leave it flat on the table like that. And I think it'd be fine flat on the table. And although that does look dreadful from the top, it's fine on the sides. If you want to, again, you've got the option to decorate it with something. If you're going to decorate with something, you need to do it now, at this stage. I may go for that. Let's see if the hot glue will stick some ribbon to it. Now, you may want to be displaying some flowers, but you really haven't got green fingers or green thumbs, or however you say it in your country. So this can be done with false flowers too, or false plants. So I think we should put a bow on as well. You know me, any excuse for a bow. There we go. I think that's lovely. It's not overly fussy, but it's added a little bit of interest. Now, you may have been wondering what on earth this is doing here. Well, I've got some scrunched up tissue paper from another project, and I'm just going to pop it into the bottom of my tray. And whatever you do with it, it'll keep pinging back up for the moment. I've got lots of moss here, and I'm going to cover this with moss. You can also do this with gravel if you want to, and the gravel will do a much better job of holding down the tissue paper. I do have some gravel, but do you think I can find it? It's somewhere. Now you can add some plants. Now, I love succulents, and these plastic ones are brilliant. As you can see, this one's come off another project, but I think I'll leave it as it is, all joined together like that. Take the biggest part of the grotty bits off, and now you just lay them where you want them to be. So you can either put them very neatly, or you can put them as if they've just grown there naturally of their own accord. And I've got these fatter ones, so I think I'll put some of those there. There's still some Christmas branches on that. And I've got a few more of these, so I'll pop those there. I don't like this one. Can you see how bright and luminous it is? It's never seems to fit in with what I make, and I think it's a little bit too false looking with the blue. I'm probably going to paint that ready for another project. So there you have it. Really quick, really easy, instant garden. And it's so quick and easy, you've never got to water it or care for it in any way. And if you get bored with it, you can just take some of these off and add some different plants, such as some flowers, whatever you want to put there. You can make a little gravel path running down the middle of the green if you wanted to. You could even use some little trees and make a little diorama to suit the season. Just notice one of my branches is broken. Oh, look at that. We lie it down there and hope nobody notices. Don't tell anyone. Right, let's see what this looks like up on my display. our tin lid is dry, so we can get on with this project. Now, I did pick it up when it was still wet. Look at that. I've still got the proof on my thumbs. So I then dried it with a hairdryer. So it's a little bit less than perfect, but that doesn't matter because you're hardly going to see this when it's been used as a plant stand. So for this, I've got this black and white gingham check ribbon that I'm going to put around the outside. But before I do, I'm going to show you some alternatives. It all depends what the style that you're looking for needs. If you put something like this, you get a real almost Victorian type look to it. I've got some sage green velvet, and that's going to make it look different again. I've got this butterfly ribbon. You could put that on and get another completely different look. But I'm going to use this black and white check because I do love black and white check. Out with the glue gun, and off we go. What's your favourite method of making a bow? I like having all the big ruffly bows that are rather flamboyant, but I do love the simplicity of just a 2-loop bow. So easy to make. And now I just stick that over the join, like that. Next thing I'm going to do is take a riser. Now, I thought that this would look lovely, this glass riser. Hot glue doesn't do the best of jobs on glass, but I think it's going to be strong enough to last for my purposes as long as I don't swing on it. And you really shouldn't be swinging on your plant stands. This is a dead posh candle holder. Listen to the ping on this. Can you hear how long that rings for? Right, enough pinging of our candlestick. As you can see, I didn't paint underneath. You can if you're terribly efficient, but I'm looking for fast and easy, so this is perfect for me. Figure out where the candlestick is going to go, roughly, just to give you a little bit of an idea. And then I'm going to get a pencil and draw around it because you won't see. It just gives me a rough guide because I've got to go quick. Out with hot glue. And on it goes. Now that looks really out of line on the camera, but it isn't. Ta-da! You can leave this as a classic look, but I'm going to put a little bit more embellishment on it. I've got these gorgeous roses. So the first thing is to wire these 3 together. Just give them a twist, I think. That should hold them in place enough. Oh, yes, look at that. Make sure the bow's at the front. It wouldn't look very good if the bow was poking around the side. Which way up am I going to go? Too near the bottom or too near the top? Too near the bottom, I think. Right, so on with a big blob of hot glue. Biggest blob of hot glue in the world. Do any of you remember the song, The Biggest Aspidistra in the World? Used to love that when I was little. Okay, my flowers fell apart and I don't have time to fuss about. So I'm going to stick them in place quickly before the glue sets. Now I got this little bird. I know it may be a bit too glamorous, but I like it. Let's see what this would look like sat on the flowers. Do you think that's a bit much? I could put that on the side there or above the bow. No, I'm not going to put it on. It is too much. I want to use it, but it's too much. So I'm going to put that away. And this is my quite simplistic, I did manage to restrain myself, plant stand for lots of little pots. But if you've got a pot and you want to put it on something like this, you may decide your pot isn't pretty enough. So there are a few things that you can do to a pot to make it pretty. Take a piece of ribbon. I'm using a burlap ribbon with lace attached. Glue it around your pot. You don't need a lot of glue. It doesn't need gluing all over. It's not going to go anywhere. Just to make sure it doesn't slip, really. And what a pretty pot. Much nicer than a plastic one. Let's do the comparison. Oh yes, this one definitely wins. If you're into glamorous, you can get some of this false sort of jewelly diamondy thing on a roll. Not sure what you call it. And you can stick that to a pot. Especially if you've got something that flows over the top. It isn't quite long enough, but these are simple enough to just cut off another strip and put it at the bottom, or just put it centrally. You can paint your pot. You can put glue on your pot and cover it with glitter. You can cover your pot with washi tape, but if so, every inch, give it a little snip and then push it into place, otherwise it'll crease up a little bit too much. A flowery flower pot. Or how about this for a bit of fun? Get some bird feathers, glue them around, trim the bottom off, and you've got yourself a really quirky pot. If you'd like to see more ideas for jazzing up a plant pot, let me know. And if there's enough interest, I could do a whole video on jazzing up your plant pots. Right, so let's see what this is going to look like up on my display. If you've enjoyed this video, then please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, because there are lots more projects coming throughout the year and you wouldn't want to miss out on any of them. I'll see you all next time, but until then, don't forget, happy crafting and have fun. Bye!